Hello, welcome to the 20th episode of All Sports Talk. I'm Patrick Gary.
I'm Kyle Zito.
And I'm Rudy Picarella.
In today's episode, we're going to be talking about MLB rule changes. So the first rule I'm going to be talking about is the designated hitter. So in 2020, in the pandemic season, they did have the DH. And then after a year of pitchers not swinging, they took away the DH, so pitchers would have to swing. And it did hurt pitchers like Jacob deGrom. I think they should have kept the DH, and next year they should add the DH. What do you guys think about this rule?
I felt after a while that they should have, both leagues, they should have just agreed on a major league rule that both leagues have to either use it or the pitcher has to hit. But if you have, in the National League, the pitcher was always hitting, okay, and the pitchers were used to it, and they went to a National League park, the pitcher on the other team had a hit, you knew what the rule was, okay? You can't just switch it in between the seasons. You know what I mean? At least it was already set that was the rule for the year. Now they switch it. And I thought it hurt teams. I think you should have, personally, I would like to rather have the DH in there for one reason, because the pitchers, whatever, minus deGrom, of course, okay, because he knocks in all his team runs. They don't hit as well as an everyday pitcher. But I'm going against myself here. The reason I think pitchers should hit is because that eliminates guys throwing at other people. Because if the pitcher's out, knows he's got to get up, he's a little more hesitant to start knocking people down. I'm not saying don't pitch inside. I'm talking about throwing at people. But I don't know. I think it hurt the pitchers because it's not like they were hitting every day. Now, all of a sudden, they knew they didn't have to bat. Now, all of a sudden, you got to bat again. It's not like they take batting practice every day to begin with, So I think that was unfair to the pitchers.
All right, so the DH should not be in MLB. I think for the sole purpose of it just sort of removes a big expression of skill away from your team. I can compare it to like having a very good kicker in the NFL, right? Of course, you'll have a kicker, but if you have like a bottom of the line kicker, it's not gonna be as good as, of course, having a kicker like Justin Tucker or just any great kicker. So like having that little additive is kind of like having a good hitting pitcher, right? And if pitchers are encouraged to swing more and hit more, then I think it adds that much to help the team, and it can really help just your lineup, because most pitchers right now are an automatic out, besides the select few, as we talked about before. But if we emphasize hitting for pitchers, then it would be very nice to have it so that it's a pretty good thing to have in your lineup, and it just really elevates the team.
Now, I know Marcus Stroman, former Met player, he's a current free agent. He said on one of his live streams on Instagram that when he would face like Max Scherzer, he would just go up there and just not even swing his bat. Like, would you want a player just going up there, not swinging their bat, automatic strikeout, 3 pitches, you're done? Or wouldn't you rather have someone on your bench who's a good hitter, but not a good fielder, say, and he can hit a home run, make it a tie ball game, or give you guys the lead? Like, I think you'd rather the guy hitting a home run than a guy just standing there striking out, looking like a moron.
Look, you got 2 good points. In defense to his, even though I think the DH should be there, okay, these guys are Major League Baseball players, okay? They were probably great athletes in high school, and if they went in college, they probably batted in college, playing another position, a lot of these guys, before they became pitchers, okay? So, like, this is your job. You got to get up. You got to hit the ball. I understand that point. But in defense to the pitchers, they were hired to throw the ball, not hit the ball. Okay, so they don't even let them take batting practice half the time unless guys really want to do it. All right, so they go, and like you said, they're pretty much an automatic out. You know what I mean? So like, and they play every 4 days. It's like having a different DH every day, pretty much, when you got the pitcher, but it's a different DH that can't hit. So just have another guy in the lineup every day, and he knows his role that, okay, I'm the DH, Edgar Martinez. That should be in the Hall of Fame. I mean, he is in the Hall of Fame, and people would argue that he shouldn't be because he really didn't have a position, but he played the field enough. So I just think that, the DH, if you have to pick one, the DH should be in there. Now, if they go the other way, I'm not, I'm okay with it, but it should be the same for both leagues. But my opinion, you need an everyday hitter in the lineup and just let the pitcher pitch because that's what he's paid for.
Now, another rule I'm going to be talking about is the spider tack rule. Now, MLB removed spider tack in June, and we saw pitchers getting injured like Glasnow and like Cole. And then pitching ERA has gone up. Should they have removed the spider tack right away, or give the pitchers we're going to be removing it after the All-Star break, so slowly stop using it and not get injured? Now, a quote from Tyler Glasnow I'm going to say is, "I just threw 80-something innings, and you just told me I can't use anything. I have to change everything. I truly believe 100% that's why I got hurt. I'm frustrated. MLB doesn't understand. You can't just tell us not to use something. It's crazy." What do you guys think about this rule?
All right, so spider tack is quite interesting for pitchers. I mean, obviously spider tack in itself is very, very effective, right? I don't think that spider tack, there are definitely some strong substances that should not be used for obvious reasons, but removing everything from it was a very bad decision, I think, especially removing it in a snap of the finger and not letting anyone adjust. So, I mean, I used to pitch. That was my thing. So I want to see good pitching, right? And if there's something that can help pitchers be better, then that's for that, right? I mean, seeing someone, even if they want to use sunscreen and rosin, that's what people would normally use, I believe. That didn't seem to have as much of a great impact as things like spider tack, for example, and that stuff, whatever Trevor Bauer created in the lab. That those two things are probably illegal as anything, right? They should not be legal. But small things like sunscreen rosin, just to get an extra little something on the ball, because a baseball isn't the most grippy thing, although they're obviously laces, but it's, besides that, if your fingers aren't on the laces first a pitch, it's a little rough on the edges, So having just a little small substance would definitely go a long way for pitchers, I'm assuming, and for their health and just for their arm.
Okay. Now, you see, once again, I blame Major League Baseball. No, because they're hypocrites. They're hypocrites. All right.
Yeah.
It should have never been allowed in the first place. You are not allowed to put anything on a baseball. Gaylord Perry, Phil Niekro, all these guys were suspended, fined, thrown out of the league. Now all of a sudden they're allowing people to put things on the baseball. The baseball is made a certain way. All right. If you're a major league pitcher, okay, you hold the threads like you were saying, and you make the ball move. Okay. Adding something to the ball is not made that way. Okay, the ball is made to be smooth with the threads, and then you, as an individual, have to figure out how to do it. Putting something on the top of the ball will make it, as long as you keep it up there, it'll make the ball tumble in different directions once you add stuff to it. All right, that's illegal. You can't change it. 5 years ago, Major League Baseball was bitching about guys taking steroids. Same stuff. Okay, you know what I mean? It's illegal. You know what I mean? You're enhancing to make yourself better. Why was it illegal then? This is making a guy who's not good become better than he actually is. It's not his ability. It's the ability of the stuff that he's putting on the ball to make it move. All right. Now, I don't understand how guys got themselves hurt. When I first heard about this spider tack stuff, I thought it was, when guys get bad blisters, they throw that stuff over it to stop it.
Yeah.
That's what I thought everybody was arguing about originally. Okay. And I was like, well, you know what? As long as it covers it, it doesn't get onto the ball, the guy should be allowed to use it. And that's when Patrick told me, no, they're putting stuff on it. And guys are inventing stuff in the labs and going home and cooking it up with their wives and stuff and their girlfriends, trying to doctor the ball. You can't doctor the baseball. It's as simple as that. It's illegal, right? That's my opinion. But if Major League Baseball allowed them to use it for part of the season and changed the rule and said they could use it, you can't stop it halfway through. I agree with you on that part.
Yeah.
You can't just stop it halfway through.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, you got to finish the season, and not even at the All-Star break. You finish the season with it the way the season started, and then next year you say, you know what, we're going back to banning any substances on the ball, which that's how it should be. You shouldn't be able to doctor the baseball.
That's true. You shouldn't doctor the baseball. But depending on free agency, MLB juices the ball, so they go further out for more home runs, which they should get rid of as well.
Well,
Because
look, you're right about that. Okay, they're funny. Like I said, they're hypocrites. Okay, they doctor the ball, but they make it tighter or whatever they did because they want to see more homers. But everybody is still throwing the same ball and hitting the same ball. Okay, that's just the equipment that they're using, the ball that they're using. You know what I'm saying? You could change. You decide to use a different ball, but that's the ball. What bothered me, we talked about this another time. Okay, how Major League Baseball is hypocrite because they said everybody's hitting home runs in Colorado, so they had to take all the balls that the Rockies used and put them in a humidifier so that would stop the balls from going out of the park. You remember that? That's what home field advantage is all about. Okay, but if you're saying we want a tighter round ball, then that's fine because everybody's using the same ball. They know it and they're using it the whole year. You can't just say, wow, we're not scoring any runs because these guys stink because all they try to do is hit home runs and now change the ball in the middle of the year. No, you can't do that. You know what I mean? I got you on certain points, but as long as they start the year with it and they continue the year with it, I'm okay with that, even though I don't know, these guys, I can't hit that. That's all they hit is home runs. That's the reason it's up. Nobody gets base hits. They either home run or strike out. Has nothing to do with the ball.
now, speaking on the spider tack, MLB was really cracking down this season on it, making sure umpires check the pitcher each inning coming out. Now we saw players like Max Scherzer just take off all their clothes, showing they don't have it, and Joe Girardi asking every time Max Scherzer went out if he has it when he clearly didn't. And then we saw when a position player would come in the Phillies game, he would have to get checked. I don't like this rule. A quote from Gary Cohen, Mets announcer, after Tyler McGill got 10 strikeouts, he says, I mean, he's getting this great ovation, walking off, and they're doing a strip search. Come on. When is this going to end checking the players? Because clearly they're not using the spider tack. They're not using any substances. MLB has to stop checking the players.
All right, so basically, this is it was so weird to see it right in the beginning of the season because it was really funny to see all the different reactions, right? Because some pitchers were automatically sick of it within the first 3 days, and some pitchers like just went along with it as normal and just accepted it to happen. That being said, I think that it's not bad to check, right? Because obviously there are still players that have done it and have tried to hide it, but were not successful with it. And yeah, so with that being said, I don't think they should do it after every single inning, though. You know, I think that there should be like after they walk off the field, then they could have either a umpire or somebody like that do it in the dugout, right? I don't think it has to be done right between the line and the dugout. I feel it's weird to do it right on the field because everyone's watching. Obviously, you're right in the middle of everything. I feel like doing it in the dugout is more of a it's more like a common sense place because if you really do want to check for someone, and you have people like Max Scherzer doing what he did, which was in all fairness very funny. If you're gonna really do like a well conducted search, if that's what you're dead set on doing, I feel like doing it in the dugout is definitely like the best option to do it. I feel like just doing it like you said after if you do have like a big inning, right, and you stop all momentum just like that by having the guy stop, but after he crosses that first base line to his dugout, it's just like weird to see it have right in the field. It's like a big momentum killer.
Yeah, well, the thing is, if they didn't allow it in the first place, nobody would be getting checked. If just like Necro and what's his name in those days, if the guy is using an illegal substance, you got to check them. Okay. But like you said, it's constantly, you're checking the guy every time you think he's throwing like a good pitch. You know what I mean? Like now it's like the coach is like, my guys just suck. Just admit it. Your players can't hit the ball. You know what I mean? Like that's what it feels like. They're doing it all the time. So you know what? Like anything else in the old days, you leave the judgment up to the umpire. So there is no more checking. If the umpire feels, okay, hey, I've been watching this guy throw balls constantly. Now all of a sudden the ball dancing all over the place and they want to check him, it's up to the umpire. Okay. I mean, he's going to know. He's the guy looking at it constantly, you know, and he's looking out for it. So they talk about speeding up the game and all this other stuff. No, stop checking these guys every 30 seconds. All right. It's up to the umpire. He runs the game. If he thinks he's doing something illegal, just like in the old days, you stop him. That's it. You check him. If you don't catch him, that's the end of it. You know. And hey, you know what? Gaylord Perry, he didn't get caught. 4 innings later, the umpire decided, you know what? Those balls that inning were moving because Perry thought he got away with it. Now the umpire has the decision. But the coaches can't constantly and can't keep checking these guys. You know. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I played with a guy. When the ball was cut, he used to make this thing dance all over the place. Okay, you know, when you had a cut in the ball, he knew how to hold it in certain ways it would dance. So when he would pitch, I would have a tack in my glove. And when he would look at me as the ball came around the infield, I would slice it. And then it would get to him. And the next batter had no chance. Ball was dancing like a belly dancer. It was all over the place. But the umpire, you know, I saw that happening, okay, because the ball wasn't doing any of that. Now he decided, okay, I'm going to check. Didn't find anything on him. And that's why they started checking the fielders. But you can't go around checking the field. You can't go around, you know what? Enough with checking the guy every 30 seconds, even in the dugout, whatever. If the umpire feels it because he's watching the pitch all the time, he goes out and says, hey, timeout, let me check you. And then he throws the nail file out of his pocket, Phil Negro. You ever see that one? It's great. So I don't think they should check. I don't think the manager should have the choice to tell him to check. If the umpire who runs the game feels that I need to check them, that's fine, because it is, in my mind, it shouldn't be allowed, but I don't think you should be stopping the game every 30 seconds to check the guy after every inning.
In the minor leagues, they are practicing a rule that the pitcher can only throw over 3 times per batter. Do you guys think is going to come into the MLB? I don't think it will. This just gives the runner such a huge advantage because after the second time, once the pitcher's set, he can just take off and take second because what's the pitcher going to do? Have a balk? He already gets second base, in my opinion. Like, this is just giving the runner a huge advantage.
With my opinion here, I think that stopping the stopping the throwovers is probably really smart because honestly, there aren't a lot of players that have that, you know, completely different killer speed that will warrant a throwover more than 3 times in that bet. I mean, if there's very, very few amount of players that will make you do that. And even if you really are like ready for him to steal, right? And you are 99% sure he's going to steal and you throw over 3 times already, I mean, you can still pitch out. Like, pitch outs are completely optional. It's a completely viable thing. Yes, you're taking a ball, but I mean, you're 90% of the time going to gun that runner at second. And I think that pitch outs honestly work better than pickoffs. Pickoffs never seem to work too well on an experienced base runner who's like very good at it. It seems like it's just like kind of a waste of time. Also, it really slows down the pace of the game. It just makes like even the crowd starts booing when it happens. Like you can literally hear it through the television. I mean, it just gets annoying at a certain time. And it's just really not like it's really not that useful in my opinion. I don't like the pickoff in general. Like it just doesn't seem all too effective.
I got you. You got a valid point about just pitch out, okay, or take a shorter step, get the ball to the plate quicker on a pitch out. You got a valid point there, but like you said, and this is my argument, the pitcher should be able to throw over as many times as he wants to kick it. Because experienced pitchers, what they'll do is they'll change the different ways they throw over. They'll hold it. Then the next time they'll go back and they'll go over quick. Okay. Now, the bottom line is, like you said, there aren't really that many like Ricky Hendersons, and I know I would use all these old guys because they're the guys I got, that I remember, the Willie Wilsons and the Willie McGee's, and they all flew. Okay. But now what you just did is you made Jorge Posada a base stealer. Because the minute you throw over the second time, he's taking a 40-foot lead because you can't throw over. Okay. All right. And if you step off, right, you can't throw over. All right. So what's he going to do? Walk back to first base, right? If you throw over, I don't know, what are they making him balk and he gets second? Okay. And if Jorge Posada, once you come set, decides to start running to second base, you can't throw to second base because it's an unoccupied base. So, you know what I mean? I understand everybody always talking about we want to speed up the game, we want to do this, okay? But then Major League Baseball, once again, will contradict themselves and tell the umpire, hey, check that guy 47 times, do this. You know what I mean? They have messed with the game so much, okay, that they're now making up other ridiculous rules, okay, to compensate for the other ones. And the biggest problem came in when they wanted all the instant replays. You know what I mean? Like the human error of the umpire is part of the game, okay? And I swear, I mean, I've been watching baseball for over 50 years, and I only remember 3 times. It was only 2, okay? But I remember 2 times since I was a kid, and I used to tell my wife and my mother all the time, if I ever become a major league manager, I will never argue with these umpires. And believe me, I argue with umpires all the time. Because every time you watch that replay, it was this close, but they were always right. There was a play with the Cardinals and the Royals, all right, and I think it was 86, all right, and it didn't even have an outcome in the game, but that call was blown. There was one other one I couldn't remember, and the most recent one that you guys know was the Andres Galarraga, the kid who pitched the perfect game, and the umpire called first base, okay?
That was horrendous.
That umpire got death threats.
That was horrendous. What?
Yeah. No, that umpire got death threats. The pitcher.
Yeah, and you know what? And the funny part is he was rated the #1 umpire in the league. And I have my own opinion on what happened there. Is I felt that he had in his mind the whole time in that inning that any close play, I'm calling the guy out. So like the thing came down, he was so like, I'm going to call him out, that because if you watch it, he starts to go like this and then he goes safe, Yeah. Now, look, and I said it right away when it happened, and these guys are smart enough and nobody would have complained. All he had to do when Jim Leland came running out of the dugout, all he had to do was say, Jim, listen to me. I thought the first baseman's foot came off the base. Let me ask the home plate umpire for help. You know what I mean? That's all he had to say. And nobody would have argued that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's all he had to say is, Jim, listen. But he knew he blew the call right away. So all he had to do was say, listen, Jim, I thought the first baseman came off the base. Let me get the home plate umpire, whatever, So, and that's why, little things like that, not throwing over, okay? How many times you see a pitcher throw over and be lackadaisical and throw it over the guy's head? Just like that, walking the guy without pitching a ball.
Oh, the lackadaisical.
You got to throw the ball. You know how many guys I seen throw the ball away?
It happened in one of the Mets-Phillies games. Rhys Hoskins, he barely threw it back. VR took off and scored.
Yeah.
And the Mets won that game.
Unintentional walk. They don't pitch it anymore, right? They just put the guy on first base.
Yeah.
You got to throw the ball. You got to throw the ball.
Because, one time it's going to go over the plate by accident, home run.
Just that one, that's all it takes. You're going to throw it away. Same thing, the throw over. It's just anything can happen. But I just feel that you're going to turn bad, base stealers into good base stealers. Because once they go to pick them off, because sometimes, well, not no more. In the old days, they used to throw over the first to see if the guy was going to square around to bunt. You know that, right? A lot of times, what we used to do is we would throw over, and like a guy who's not really a good hitter or a good bunter, I should say, okay, or experienced at it, he would tip his hand. When he would throw over the first, he would tip his hand that he was squaring around. So now we knew he was bunting. You can't do that anymore. But nobody bunts, so they don't have to worry about that. You know?
Since rules like the 7-inning doubleheader and the man on second base came in, like they just really haven't been that good. Like, yeah, it speeded up games, but like I feel like it's just a different game, and you're not getting the full like experience of the game. I think they're gonna remove this rule soon. What do you guys think about the rule?
Well, both of them. 7-inning doubleheader, joke. It ain't even half as a joke as putting somebody on second base. Okay. All right. I can't even without getting so excited. You can't put somebody out there that didn't earn it. Okay. I want to know where the stat is. Okay. Where's the stat for the pitcher who gives up that run? Is there like another column that says team, run got scored, but nobody gets credited for it? Okay.
So apparently in the rule, it says MLB, the relief pitcher does not get, like, his ERA does not go up because of that. But I saw twice that it actually did affect the relief pitcher. Once with the Mets with Edwin Diaz, he gave up, he gave up a single and it was a walk-off. His ERA went up.
Right.
And then the other time in fantasy baseball, it happened to Paul Sewald, and his ERA went to a 9, and I lost that week in fantasy because of it.
Yeah, because fantasy don't know how not to put it there, because if somebody gives up
exactly.
No, because
I can't blame fantasy for that.
If somebody gives up a run, it's supposed to go against you. Okay, so here's my thing is the poor pitcher is getting charged an earned run. He didn't give up a hit. Okay, he didn't give up a hit. All right. The only guy who did anything was the guy who got the single. And all he should do is get a hit and his average should go up. But no, he gets an RBI for it too. How do you get an RBI for something when the person was put out there? Right? Yes, you knocked him in, but the guy who got out there didn't earn it. All right. Look, it's insane. Okay. And here we go again with moving the games faster. Okay, we want to see this and that, the other thing, 7-inning doubleheaders. And meanwhile, if they want the day to go faster, they take a 2-hour break in between, clear the stadium, make people come back. Just play the game right after, like we used to do, 15 minutes, have a cookie, and go play the goddamn game. All right, if you want the games to end faster. All right, these guys, okay, it's their livelihood. Okay, this is what they get paid to do, to go to work. All right. And we'll forget about the doubleheaders. We'll say a 9-inning game happens to go extra inning. All right. I know they're there 3-4 hours before the game. So the game takes 3 or 4 hours to play. So that's a total of 8 hours. Everybody in the United States works 8-hour days. And they ain't making a zillionth of the money that these guys are making. And it's not really about the money, but you know what? That is your work day. That's how the game was. Once again, Major League Baseball messing with the integrity of the game. Biggest hypocrites in the world. You know what I mean?
I was at the Mets and Marlins game this year. It was a doubleheader. The Mets won the game. The best games I've actually been to.
Right again, right?
Yeah. So you had after the first game, you had the people in my section had to leave the stadium and then come back in to sit down. They don't just sit in their own seats again and just wait for the next game, which was at I think 7.
So they made you buy 2 tickets and you had to leave the stadium to come back with it. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
So I think that the 7-inning doubleheaders should stay the way they are, right? Because right now, with this rule, it's obviously a 14-inning day opposed to 18-inning day, right? So with that being said, a starting pitcher would normally go out for 5 to 7 innings, right? And that would be enough for one whole game in a doubleheader game, right? But in like a 9-inning doubleheader, you're probably getting, like I said, 5 to 7 innings, depending on who the guy is. And yeah, then you're going through your bullpen, right? And then you're doing the same thing the next game, right? And that's just, I think it's too much wasted at that point. You're just not, you have too much riding, especially considering the fact that each doubleheader, you normally have one team playing like bench players like half the game, right? And no one really wants to see that all too much. Like, you're kind of going there to see, going in there to see the Astros play. You're not trying to see their AAA team play for a game. Like, it doesn't really make sense to just have these extra 4 innings that, like a lot of times you could decide a game in 7 innings, and that's, ball game. Even if it does go to extras in a 7-inning game, you're still not playing as much as it would for a normal 9-inning game, most likely. So that being said, I think that it's a lot better to keep your full team on and not blow through an entire bullpen in one day, and then because the next 3 days you would, or any your opponent are most likely going to probably just lose because you're throwing out your bullpen guys that obviously haven't been used, and they're just not the best as you would expect.
Right. And if the game went to extra innings, guess what? They would put the guy on second base anyway.
Yeah.
Like,
Exactly. Dude, I was literally going to put that in, and I was like, no, I'll wait for that one. I was like,
Well, yeah. So the game won't last long anyway. It'll never go.
Yeah, exactly.
It'll never go 4 innings. They just put guys out there whenever they feel tired.
So now have the man on second base in extra innings, right?
Yep.
How does it go to the 11th inning? If you're the home team, how do you not bunt the runner over? Now he's 90 feet away from scoring, and you hit a sac fly. Game over.
Because you have a pitcher hitting, you can't have pop fly correctly.
And that's when the DH comes in. That's when the DH comes in.
Yeah. What if you have like busted Posey at second base? He's not coming home on a sac fly, unless it's really deep.
Depends how far you hit it.
Yeah, exactly.
You see, like I'm not saying a little pop fly in the infield, like
Obviously,
a fly ball into the outfield. He's scoring from 90 feet away.
Maybe. Madison's throwing.
Okay.
If you have like Judge out there and right, it's all over. He's
okay. You have Judge and Hopper out there. Yeah, it's gonna be over. But like,
yeah, yes, Eacher out there. He's done.
All right. Say it's like I don't know what you think. Say it's Andrew McCutcheon.
Yeah.
He's gonna beat that out.
Possibly, yeah.
Oh, or just do a double shift. Put a fast runner in and put Posey at first base.
I guess, yeah.
Like saying, like
I get what you're saying. Yeah, I'm just contradicting it for fun.
Yeah, like we were watching the Mets Marlins game. It went to 13 innings. I'm pretty sure.
Jesus.
Like
it was insane.
Yeah, I get it. The minor leaguers trying to get a hit and be impressive, but just win the game because that's winning the game is more impressive than getting a hit, in my opinion. And then you have one of the Padres. I think Padres, Dodgers are two of the 3 big teams in the NL West last year. A game went into 15 innings. Granted, they were scoring 5 runs per inning, but still, once you get the 5th run and you have then the 1 inning they don't score, that's when you should win it. Like crazy.
But we'll see. They should hit the in my opinion, Major League Baseball should hit the reset button back to, I guess, the year 2000 when baseball, they were still playing it the right way. I don't think there was any video thing in 2000, right? I don't know
I think it's just
what year that came in, but before that,
the steroids.
He may have had A-Rod on steroids.
Yeah, I think that was just steroids.
Before that, whenever that was, and it's crazy. They're just changing rules left and right now. They're just messing the game up, and then they're changing rules back to this. Just go back to the way regular baseball was, and you ain't got to worry about it.
Yeah, I think that they should definitely do like 1 year after the season, they should do a full reset and just like completely, overhaul the rule book and keep whatever they want to keep in, take whatever they want to take out, and just call it a day.
Yeah, they just
they have to like one full off season. I think to do that.
You're making up other rules now to compensate for the other ones you made.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know what I mean? That will mess.
Thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, and comment.